Today I am going to do a review of Mayco's Rose Quartz. I picked this one because my daughter asked for something pink, and I don't do a lot of pink. It's a cone 5 to 10 glaze. I'll be firing to cone 6. Clays that I'm going to be testing on. I have a red one here. I think this is actually Reclaim, but it would be a mix of Pottery Supply House 500 and 505 and whatever else made its way in there. This one is Pottery Supply House's buff stoneware. So it looks kind of pinkish now, but it turns out kind of a buff color with speckles. And then I have some Reclaim tiles, and I think I'll make her a reasonably sized bowl. I make a lot of these little bowls for testing glazes and just to have. They're good for rings or sauces or hair clips or whatever. So I'm going to try it on these 3. And I have used rose quartz before, and I know that it looks nice with Amaryllis. So this is a little one from the Mayco, I think it was the 2023 stoneware test kit. Anyway, so I've still got a bit left. So I'm going to use this on top of this on this vase, just on the top of it, because I do know it does run. A little bowl, again, Reclaim. And this Reclaim has porcelain and stoneware, and I got a box, the dark granite, ages ago that's just kind of infected everything. Anyway, so it is kind of a random test tile. And I'm going to do some rose quartz and some Chun Plum. And as you can see, I have used Chun Plum before. I haven't found anything that I really love it with, so I'm going to try to mix these two together and we'll see what happens. I'm using actually a Mayco fan brush. I swear this isn't product placement. I've used a few different kinds of fan brushes, and by far the best one for glazing that I have found is this Mayco one. It's made out of natural hair bristles, and it doesn't shed bristles like some of the other brands that I've tried. For glazing, you want to get lots and lots of glaze on your brush. It is not like painting. You want to really gloop it on there. If you're brush glazing, of course. This bowl is a nice test tile because it has texture too, so we'll see if you can see texture under the rose quartz, and I've never actually used it on texture, so I do not know the answer to this. I've also never used it on red clay, so I mean, this could be terrible. I don't know. It's just a little bit. Onto this one, so you can kind of see that it's thicker in some places. This one I did because there's a YouTuber, the YouTube channel is Earth Nation Ceramics, and he pours all of his brush on glazes, so why not check it out, right? And I gotta give him that, it was faster for sure. way down to the bottom because I'm going to layer Amaryllis over it, and I'm pretty sure that this is going to run a lot. So 2 coats down to here, 1 coat up to here. Not worried about the lines because, again, I think it's going to run, and then I'll do a coat or 2 of the Amaryllis. Mayco says or suggests on their online tutorials that if you want to paint with things that have these crystals in them, that you put it on a plate so that you can more easily grab up the crystals. So why not? We'll give it a try. This is that same reclaim, but I'm not going to put anything over top of this one. It's just going to be rose quartz. I'm only doing the inside of this guy because I'm going to layer Chun Plum over top. And I'm layering Chun Plum over top because I bought this glaze and haven't really found that I love it. I've layered it with some other stuff and I've used it on its own, and it's okay. Lovely glaze, just not quite what I've been looking for. So I'm going to put that on top and we'll see what happens. How many coats of Chun Plum was that? Just 1, I think. So this is coat 2. Let's review. Rose quartz poured on. We have it brushed 3 times on reclaim, whitish. We have it brushed 3 times on red clay. We have it brushed 3 times on buff speckled clay. We have it brushed 3 times with Chun Plum, brushed 3 times on top. So 3 times rose quartz, 3 times Chun Plum. We have it brushed on the top of this reclaim vase, 3 times rose quartz, but the 3rd coat only went down this far. And then 2 times of the Amaryllis. And inside is Studio White. So did you spot the mistake? Remember how I said this glaze was going to run? And I knew it was going to run because I had used it before. When a glaze runs, or if you don't know whether it's going to run or not, put something called a kiln cookie underneath it. This is an example of a kiln cookie. This one does not have kiln wash on it, but you know, I use it for stuff that I'm 99% sure isn't going to run, but this is the just in case. Didn't put a cookie under this one. Here's what happens. You ready? So what happens is that, let's see if you can see this, the glaze runs, put this back together, the glaze runs to the bottom, and then it sticks the bottom to your kiln shelf. This one has kiln wash on it, but clearly not enough or not good enough. This one also, it was badly trimmed, so it has a super thick bottom, which contributed to the way it broke off. Anyway, so this one is a bust, but you can see the results of the glaze, and it's a beautiful combo. So this is the Amaryllis on top of the rose quartz. It's got streaks of like purple in here. I don't know if you can see that or not. Let's try this. There, it's a little better. So it's got streaks of purple in there and some brown. That's from the crystals in the other glaze. And if you use this, I would say use it on something that has a shape to it where it'll stop the running a little bit, or maybe use a glaze underneath that doesn't run and stops runners, like a Celadon or something. They're usually pretty good at catching running glazes. So there you have it. Rose quartz and Amaryllis. And again, I had the studio white inside, which you can't see anyway because it's dark. And the other ones, I put them back in and I set it for a 20-degree cone offset. Still way overshot the cone 6. This is the cone 6 cone. And the cone 7 started to bend. So call that a 6.5. So still pretty hot. This is the results of rose quartz on the Pottery Supply House. I think it's 500 clay. It's their dark red clay body. And it's very pretty. It's got some crystals in it. But this clay really does eat up glaze. So this is not an uncommon kind of thing to see on this dark red clay body. You can see it all kind of ran down to the middle and pooled here. This is the rose quartz with Chun Plum. So it did make a pretty purpley glaze mixture with some depth to it in the bottom. It's quite pretty. I might try it again on something else. The sides really just kind of orangey red. So nothing too exciting happening there. And this was my reclaim clay. This one is also reclaim, but just rose quartz. And it is really wide flat bottom, and it turned out kind of matte. Still has some holes in it, so not a great success, but it did run down the side, so there's probably just way too much glaze in the bottom there. So I would say if you're doing something in this glaze that has a wide flat surface, dial back the coats. And again, it looks pretty much the same on the sides as the one with the Chun Plum. Not a lot of difference there. So I guess the Chun Plum all just slid down to the bottom. This one is another reclaim bowl. I think this is the one that I poured. Maybe. I think so. And it's fine. Again, way too much down at the bottom there. You can kind of see the pinholes still. Some really nice crystallization though. And it's got a longer rim, and I think it's actually much prettier than the other ones, like the kind of ombre effect as it's run down to the bottom there. It's quite pretty. That is rose quartz board. Last but certainly not least, we have the rose quartz on the buff speckle clay, again, Pottery Supply House. And this one had some texture, some little dots carved out inside the bowl, which you can kind of still see. Not super well, but they're still there. Again, too much glaze at the bottom, still a little pinholey even at a cone 6.5. So really with these, I should have done maybe 2 coats on the bottom and 3 along the edges, something like that would be worth a try. Some really nice kind of crystallization along the top rim. So a flat, broad rim with this glaze might look really nice. Pretty consistent all the way around too. So there you have it, the results of the rose quartz test. Really consistent across the buff speckle and the reclaim. Different on the red clay, but still the same color. It just kind of disappeared a little bit on the vertical surfaces. And if you pair it on the outside of a vertical surface with Amaryllis, just don't do that. That's not going to end well for you. But I've done this on a mug where I did rose quartz for the whole thing, and then Amaryllis, maybe I only did 1 coat on that at the top, and it had a bit of a belly to it, so it kind of caught the running, and it was beautiful. So still worth a try, but just proceed with caution. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. It helps me out, helps to grow the channel, and let me know what glaze you would like to see me test next.